you might want to consider these 3 things before you start blaming God for the bad things that are happening. If I'm honest, I am also guilty of blaming God for bad things happening. When I was a lot younger, I would blame God for bad things happening. But as I grew in Christ, I actually would still blame God, but I wouldn't blame God as in he's the cause of bad things happening, but more so, why is God allowing these bad things to happen?
God does allow bad things to happen, but I would like to talk more about that in a future video.
As I continue to grow in Christ, I look back and I think to myself, why did I blame God when there are other factors that should have the blame? I started to think about it, and these are the 3 things that came to mind. The first thing is, if we are blaming God for anything, that means we acknowledge God and we acknowledge his existence. So, if we acknowledge that there is a God, then we have to, not should, we have to acknowledge that Satan also exists. If God exists, so does Satan. And with Satan, he's the father of lies. Nothing good comes from Satan. Absolutely nothing.
Revelation 12 verse 9 does refer to him as the deceiver of the whole world. Therefore, he's always trying to have a negative influence on the choices that we make in life.
Here's the second thing, and just follow me on this one. God has given us free will. So with free will, we are going to make decisions, we're going to make choices. All the decisions that humanity has made in the past has brought us to where we are today. Looking at this on a personal level or a national level or a global level, every decision has an outcome. Here's a simple example. Someone has gone out to a party, they've had way too much to drink, so that's decision number 1. They know they're driving, but they made that decision to drink more than they can handle, okay? Now they're getting back in their car, that's decision number 2. Poor decision number 2, they get back in their car and they decide to try and drive home. Unfortunately, they get into an accident and the outcome is very bad.
In this scenario, we'll just say that someone has lost their life and now their family has to grieve the tragic loss of a loved one.
So then you have to think, well, is that God's fault? Or is that the fault of the person who made the poor decisions? Here's the third thing that we need to look at. Sometimes bad things happen because we ourselves make bad decisions. It's not the people around us, it's us. It's actually us. Let's look at relationships and red flags. Some people get into a relationship and they have all the red flags that they need. As a matter of fact, there shouldn't be multiple red flags. It should be one red flag. As soon as you see that one red flag, you should be running for the hills. But anyways, some people get into a relationship and they see the red flags, and I'm talking like scarlet red flags. And for whatever reason, they stay in that relationship until all the damage has been done. Someone could say, well, God, why did you allow this to happen? Why did you allow me to get into that relationship? Why did you allow the relationship to last so long? Meanwhile, you've had all the evidence and all the red flags that you needed to just get up and walk away. So is that God's fault or is that our fault? I say all that to say this. Before we even think of blaming God, we all need to remember these things. Number 1, Satan exists. Satan is out there. Nothing good comes from Satan. Number 2, we've been given free will. Humankind has the ability to make decisions. Those decisions will somehow impact people, whether the impact is in that moment or if it has a ripple effect through time. And number 3, we need to look at ourselves. Sometimes we put ourselves in bad situations. Sometimes we make the wrong decisions, and we cannot blame our mistakes on God. That's when we have to hold ourselves accountable and take responsibility for our choices and our actions. If you want to chime in, the comments section is open. Just remember to be respectful. Take care, God bless, and I'll catch you in the next one.